Greetings and welcome to Lethal Space Program, episode 07. In the last video we left off with Bill Kerman careening towards the surface of the moon in the Pegasus Mk1. So let's check back in with him to see if he's making Kerbal history or making new craters. And through the magic of editing, he's right where we left him, bleeding off horizontal velocity as the ship's transfer stage runs out of fuel. So while we're still 16 kilometers up, we discard the transfer stage to switch over to the final landing and return stage. As we descend toward that unforgiving gray rock below, there are three important factors we have to watch to keep Bill alive. The first is the retrograde marker. This is the yellow-green crosshairs that you can see in the navigation ball at the bottom center of the screen. The objective with that is to keep it lined up with the center point of the nav ball. This will indicate that we've canceled out all lateral or horizontal velocity. If that marker is off in any direction from the center point, that means we're moving sideways across the surface. If that's happening when we contact the ground, the rocket will tip sideways, fall over, and explode, killing Bill. We don't want that to happen, so we line it up with the center point and drop straight down. The second factor is our velocity, which is indicated just above the nav ball in meters per second. Now because we've lost our landing legs, I can't remember why, tee-hee, we're going to be landing this rocket on the engine nozzles. This is a delicate operation. Landing legs can take quite a bit of an impact. Rocket nozzles cannot. If we come down too hard, we crush the rocket nozzles, probably the fuel tanks as well, explode, and of course, Bill dies. So this will be very important. We need to land exceptionally softly. The third factor is our altitude. This will become more important as it decreases, of course. And it also correlates with our velocity, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. The altitude is also why we're carrying around those pretty blue landing lights. These are meant to illuminate the ground within about 500 meters of contact. That way we can see if we're landing on a slope or some other kind of dangerous terrain like a canyon wall. If that's the case, we can move our landing position to avoid a fatal error. As we approach the surface, I refer back to the cockpit view more and more often, and there's a reason for this. The center dial in the cockpit view is our radar altitude indicator. This is important because it's the actual distance from the ship to the ground. The indicator we get outside the ship does not actually show this distance. It shows the distance from the ship to sea level. And on a world like the moon, where there are no seas, this is not what matters. Hey Moon, did ya get that thing I sent ya? Ha ha ha! Wrong series. In all seriousness, Meow, as you can see, we've bullseyed that green hex. The precision landing went off perfectly. So let's get some science done, then have Bill hop outside to go check out the surface. It's official. Bill has become the first Kerbal to set foot on another world. So let's plant a flag to commemorate the occasion and demonstrate my inability to spell. Of course, the Kerman science team is going to want a surface sample, as well as an EVA report from the surface. So Bill gets that for us, and then he's going to collect the data from the modules around the ship to bring back into the pod. As we know, upon return to Kerman, sometimes the ship doesn't return completely intact, so to keep that data safe, we bring it inside. You may note that no, let's blame Bill. Bill accidentally reset some of the experiments, so he's going to have to get back into the ship to redo them. Oops. Way to go, Bill. Damn it, Bill. As if resetting some of the experiments weren't bad enough. Now you've gone and damaged your own ship? If you weren't such a big shot go-ram hero right now, I'd have you fired. Out of a cannon. it's decision time. We've done what we came for. We've brought a Kerbal to the surface of the moon and gathered some samples. So do we return to the homeworld to save what we've got? Or do we risk it all, hop to another location to gather some more data? We've brought the equipment. Might as well get some more science. There's a set of craters to the southwest fairly nearby. It looks promising. I think we should head there. As I forgot to do a space news segment in the last episode, this time you're getting 2 scoops of space news goodness. As many of you will know, the Kepler Space Telescope has been at its job for several years now, and that job has been to look for exoplanets around other stars, in particular, Earth-like planets. It has done this job exceptionally well, in that it has found a list of potentially thousands of worlds previously unknown. So a team has taken this data and extrapolated it to include the rest of the galaxy, and their numbers are truly astonishing. They have come to the conclusion that there are a potential of 15 to 30 billion Earth-like worlds in our galaxy alone. That's anywhere from 2 to 4 Earth-like planets for every man, woman, and child on the planet Earth. Does anyone that truly understands these gargantuan numbers still believe that we are alone in this universe? Feel free to discuss in the comments. There we go, we've now entered the Twin Craters biome. Gotten an EVA report to confirm that, so let's repeat the landing procedure from before and hope we don't kill Bill. The Apollo crew had nothing on Bill Kerman. Second landing on the moon in one launch. With the mission accomplished, and Bill being a double damn hero, let's get off this rock and head back home. Uh-oh. One thing I didn't account for. That second landing ate up quite a bit of fuel. I was not as efficient as I could have been with either of those landings, and it might come back to bite us now. As we drift away from Kerbin's moon, it's time for a bit of space news about Earth's moon. It's long been believed that the moon is geologically inactive. That is, that the core has cooled and solidified enough so that there hasn't been any volcanic activity on the surface for about 1 billion years. A team from Tempe's Arizona State University believes that they've discovered evidence from the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter of volcanic eruptions on the moon about 100 million years ago. Geologically speaking, this is very recent, and it has some pretty big implications. This could change much of our understanding about how planets form and how their cores behave and cool. It could also have implications for future colonization or mining efforts on the moon, as we may be able to pull geothermal energy from the core of the moon, which was previously believed to be impossible. At the very least, we've escaped the moon's sphere of influence. We're back in orbit around Kerbin. Let's use every ounce of fuel we have to try to get Bill home. This isn't working. We have very little fuel left. Now, the most efficient way to bring an orbit down is from the high point, thrust in reverse. So we're going to orbit around Kerbin once, come back around to the high point of the orbit, and then try and use the last of the fuel we have as effectively as possible. One second short of fuel, Bill Kerman is stranded in space. He has only 27 days of supplies left. Will he survive? Can he be rescued? Next time on Lethal Space Program, Forever Fall. As always, thank you for watching Lethal Space Program. I've been your host, AED Games. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe.